Hi, my name is Jameson McKay. I'm with Gulf Coast Educators Federal Credit Union. I'm also the program chair for the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. We want to welcome you to this initial installment, let's call it our pilot, of Chamber Champions. Today I have with me, it's a special day for my fellow credit union tonight. It is International Credit Union Day, and it's been celebrated for 73 years, since 1948. And it gives us a chance to reflect on some of our accomplishments, some of the reasons we do what we do. And this is a perfect opportunity for the four of us to get together and just discuss, what it means to be part of a credit union, working for the credit union, some of our history, and also our chamber involvement. So let's get right to it. We're going to do self-introductions. Tell us the credit union you work for, how long you've been there, what you do with them, and then just a brief history of your organization. And I should start with the history of my organization, Gulf Coast Educators. We were started in 1948, I believe, by 5 Pasadena teachers. We've since then grown to a credit union that still only serves educators, but throughout the entire state of Texas. So whoever wants to go next, just dive right in.
Ladies first. That's the rule still today.
There you
Excellent.
go. Thank you. All righty. Well, thank you again, Jameson, for putting this together. My name's Reina. I do business development at Shell Federal Credit Union. I've been with the company for almost 9 years now. I started as a teller, and now I'm in the business development side, marketing side of the credit union. And the history of the credit union is like it's committed to its communities. Shell Federal Credit Union has improved the lives of thousands through service excellence, community outreach, and lasting financial solutions for all stages since 1937. Anyone who lives, works, worships, attends school, or regularly conducts business in Harris County is eligible to open an account.
Okay, great.
Very good.
I'll let you two fight it out. Who goes next?
I will go. Yeah, my name is Jay Kopic. I am the COO of Associated Credit Union of Texas. I've been with them since June of 2009, so a little over 12 years. I am the COO for 11 years. Associated Credit Union was actually formed in 1949 as DACO Credit Union by 13 people in a Pasadena plant. I always tell two parts of this is that in 1949, DACO, which ultimately became Associated Credit Union, and then Union Carbide, which if in our rich history, Union Carbide members like to maintain that longevity. So they were started in 1950. And over the course of the next 30 years, we actually merged in 2003 with Union Carbide, which at that time was Galveston County. So that kind of put the Associated Industries, DACO, all of those prior names together as Associated Credit Union of Texas with them. We did change from a federal to a state charter in 1968. So it's kind of odd if you go back. We actually started in 1949, but the charter is for state was in 1968. So we've had a rich history working through the plants and maintaining a lot of that. We are a general purpose credit union. Our general membership, so the live, work, or worship within 10 miles and having some of the segments that we had back in the day is still as part of that. So that's a little bit about it. You guys
get to celebrate 2 birthdays.
We get to celebrate 2 birthdays. Well, sometimes when you go, people say, well, you started in 1968. No, we changed in 1968. So we had like 9 name changes. So up until about 2003, which we've been Associated Credit Union of Texas collectively since that time period.
Awesome. Kevin.
My name is Kevin Venable, and I'm the Community Development Manager for Amoco Federal Credit Union. I've been here 16 years, but been in the industry since 1983. Actually started out as a teller in the Port Arthur Beaumont area. Worked for a credit union over there for 15 years, one at Baytown for 7, and been here once again for 16 years here at Amoco. My job is actually to be out in the community to make sure that the community knows who we are. We were formed back in 1937. Just like other credit unions, they started really small. We started out at the refinery. We basically service the Marathon Refinery. That's our core sponsor, but we've changed our charter. We have over 600 plus select partners. But as we change our charter recently, if you work, live, worship, or do business in certain areas, you're eligible to join. It is, once again, like other credit unions, a safe place for deposits, loans and things of that nature. But it's really a pleasure being out in the community. And thanks again, Jameson and the Chamber for putting this together.
Well, it is Chamber Week, so we need to make sure we honor the Chamber as well. Let's jump right into that part of it. So tell me, I've been involved with the Chamber for, my goodness, the whole 25 years I've been at Gulf Coast Educators because of the new teacher luncheon. And they kind of got sick and tired of seeing me just at the lunches. And so they finally, they got me on the board. And so I've been, chair of the board. And it's been a great way for me personally to grow. But the new teacher luncheon for us is a natural fit, being an educators credit union. And so we've just kind of maintained that involvement, and it's grown and grown. We've had people go through Leadership Clear Lake. Share with us, if you would, what it is about your credit union and why it's so important to be a member of the Clear Lake Area Chamber of Commerce. So we'll go in the same order again.
Okay, sounds great. Yeah, and happy Chambers Week. I just, we're very thankful for all the chambers that have helped us grow throughout the years. We've been a member with the Clear Lake Chamber for, I believe it's been like at least 15 years or so. So it is one of my favorite things is like all the events that they put throughout the year or all year round. It is very successful and it's always so much fun, always helping out the communities and of course the businesses. So like you mentioned, the new teachers luncheon, it's always great to see new educators come in, other businesses be part of it, as long as all like the food events, those are always great. So
we love food in this chamber.
Oh my gosh, yes. So it's always so fun. I love everyone at the chamber. It's always just so great. The young professionals. It is also a really good one to connect with other young professionals, and then young at heart, like Sherry always says. So I just love it. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, for me, as the COO, it's kind of unique in the fact that I'm involved in this particular chamber personally. As the credit union, we're in probably 15 or 16 different chambers throughout this area. I live in the Clear Lake Chamber area. My kids grew up in there. I've worked in the banking industry over 33 years, a lot of it in this area with Clear Lake. The thing that stands out for me personally about this is absolutely everything that you said about fun and networking and everything else. But you look at the leadership of this chamber, and not picking on anybody else, but when you have an executive director that's been there for 38 years and the vice president for 27 years, you have longevity and you have that ability to, hey, when we're going to do something, we're going to do something. It's not a 2-year term where they're rolling and having to change leadership all of the time. And not that there's anything wrong with changing leadership, but that strength and stability of having somebody that understands this area, that advocates for this area, it's very easy for a business to get involved because they know that, both Cindy and Sherry, with the strength of what they've brought to the community, makes this chamber so much bigger and so much better. So a little tout for the executive team. I think that's hugely important. I think they get overlooked a little bit. We have a lot of turnover in the chambers around us, but this one has just steadfastly been, uniquely able to stay together.
Well, and their passion for the community in the area is unmatched. It's fantastic. And I know Kevin shares a lot of that passion because I see him out in the community everywhere.
Well, on my end, and I have to just kind of go back to like what y'all were saying, each of y'all have said exactly bits and pieces what I would have said as well. And I think Jameson, what you said is like the passion, and that is what I do have. We joined when I first came to work in 2005. We were very stagnant. We knew that we had to grow, build branches, supply, those type of services to our members. And that was one thing that they brought me on board, is to build those relationships. So between the word passion and relationships, that's what I do for this credit union. We joined back in 2006, even though that we weren't going to have a facility in the area later, part of our strategic plan, but we were wanting to build relationships with that. I have to really, go by what Jay was saying is, you have a long path from, the leadership on the chamber staff. I've served on the chamber board for many years. Several other of our team members served. Actually, our CEO just came off the board. He had a 5 or 6 year commitment. He just came off the board as past chair, so we believe in chambers of commerce. We're members of 12. And when someone says that they don't get anything out of a chamber, they don't really work it. It's a 50-50. You have to go 50-50 where if, attending a lunch, if you have a limited budget, you don't have to do all the sponsorships and things like that. Now, Cindy DeWeese might be mad that I'm kind of upset with me that I said that. But the thing is that if you're a small company and you're limited on resources, go to the luncheons. That's a very inexpensive. Do a spotlight table, join a committee. That gets you involved. And then as your business grows, yes, you can start joining, trying to get into some type of different sponsorships for your company. So I think it's just anything that you can do, building relationships. I have met so many people through the chambers that we're members of, and especially Clear Lake. And that is part of my role, or my main role, is with all the, the chambers of commerce and the nonprofits and things like that. So it's been a real blessing that our board, our executive team has allowed us to be involved in the chambers of commerce and just build all these networking opportunities.
Well, and you mentioned something really important there. And, you talked about relationships, and the chamber is great at fostering relationships. But, people think we're about money, right? No, credit unions are about relationships as well.
Correct.
So I think that's why it's such a good fit. And I see so many really active credit unions in chambers of commerce. Let's bring it back to International Credit Union Day. And the theme this year is building financial health for a brighter tomorrow. Give me a sense of how your credit union is living that theme on a day-to-day basis.
Well, we embrace the building financial health for a brighter tomorrow theme by always being there for our members, from financial education about credit building to walking them step by step through any loan process for our members are part of the Show FCU family. Providing exceptional service is our number one priority to ensure our members are financially sound for all stages of life.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I guess the same order, my turn. I would echo that. I mean, the credit union's job is, because we're local, everything stays local. So it's much easier to have, a connection with your constituents and your member base, because they're not just people or numbers, they're family and they're friends, and they go to church with us, they go to work with us, they do all of those pieces. So it's not just, hey, we're going to help you with your credit. It's, hey, let's get you in a better place. So we continue to teach financial education. We all actually offer a summertime program for students the last few years, where we have a program designed just for them to teach them about finance and banking and things of that nature, so that they grow up in a world where, okay, they understand it. We teach Financial Peace University. We work a lot with the veteran community in financial education. We're working through a grant right now where through our nonprofit that allows us to teach, or not allows us, but it incents us to continue that process of teaching veterans and their family about financial education and keeping them moving forward, so that they become good stewards of their households.
All well said. And that's a repeat for us as well, too. And I think, with the credits that are participating today, we all do a great job of, financial education, things like that. And that's something that we like to do as well. If it's having a seminar at one of the local schools, or some of the businesses that might say, hey, can you come out and talk to our employees? We do have a zone for our kids that are 0 to 16. We have a young professionals group that's in an age range 18 to 20, let's say it's 35. And then we have a seniors club, 55 and older. And those, once again, are building relationships, but it's also how can we educate them? And it's not all about just getting the business. We want to make sure we want to listen to the members. And if they're coming in, and if we can help them, if they're coming in for a car loan, they might have another vehicle finance elsewhere with a finance company. If they're getting a better rate over there, we're not going to try to get that loan moved over just to get that loan. We want to make sure that they're getting the best service. If it's something we can help them with to maybe lower their interest rate, do debt consolidations. We do a ton of debt consolidations where we're pulling, other debt and putting it together. That's helping their credit score. That's put into one payment, put into a revolvement. revolving credit. And it doesn't mean that they're going to cut up all their credit cards. It's just helping them where they're not having to put all these payments out there, $50 here, $50 there, things like that. But we want to look and listen to each member's situation because everyone is different. And we want to be accommodating to them and helping them.
Yeah. So we do a lot of the same things. We've really made a commitment. We've got about 9 or 10, including myself, certified credit union certified financial counselors on staff. Members can email us at any time, and as a group, we'll go through the question and try to really get to the root of what it is they're asking and help them that way. I think we have one in every department so that they can kind of coach along their employees to make sure that they're advocating for the members and their financial health. So, and then a big part of this, and I'm sure all of us have gone through this over the last 18 months, is making tools available to our members electronically so that they can do these things themselves and have a way to keep check on it and things like that. So I'm pretty sure all of us have really upped our digital game over the last 2 years in giving people those tools.
Absolutely.
So moving on, tell me what's the best thing about working either for your credit union or a credit union in general. And I'll just start off by saying I've been here 25 years and it's been so much fun. They've given me opportunities to grow. I heard both of you or two of you say you started as tellers. And, you've moved through the organization, and I love those stories. I love seeing them here. I hired a couple of tellers when I was a branch manager, and now one of them's a data analyst, and the other one is our chief experience officer. So it's so rewarding to see that. And I just wasn't built for corporate America. So I'm just so thankful and blessed that I found a credit union to work for, and it aligned with my passion. My wife's a teacher. My daughter's about to be a teacher. It was just a great fit for me. So, tell us what it is you love about working for your credit union or the industry in general.
Yeah, like you said, Jameson, I started as a part-time teller, so it is fun. And I know a lot of businesses say this, but truly, it does feel like a family here at Shellfooter Credit Union. It's always just so nice. There's so much room for growth. Again, I started as a part-time teller, moved on up, and then moved to the marketing department, now business development. And I've seen a lot of my other colleagues and, my other teller friends, they're in HR now, like you said, some in IT, some in operations support. It's just, there's always a lot of room, like I said, room for growth. So they're very understanding, the work environment. It's fun. Plus what I do, which is get to meet with other people in the community, is just phenomenal.
Awesome.
I guess I'm relatively new to the credit union world. I've been here a little over 12 years. Before that, I worked for one other organization. And moving over here, it was more of a cultural thing. The previous institution that I was with was taken over by a very large behemoth bank that was out there, and they just didn't have the culture that I was used to in my previous financial institution. So knew the CEO over here, we met, and I came on board. And what I found was that the culture was extremely similar to my previous banking institution, but with a twist. And that is that, with big banks, you got to get into, CRA and, redlining and all this other stuff. And it's, you got to make sure that the money that you're gathering in this area stays in this area. You got to go through a lot of that. And it's just, okay, wait a minute. Credit unions do that without even thinking. The money is local. It stays here. It's between us. It's our members' money. We keep it here. And that's a cool concept when you really think about how a credit union was designed. And, Kevin mentioned, 5 or 6 people, or you did, Jameson, starting your credit union. There were 13 that started ours. And it was their money that they lent or gave to somebody else to make life better for their family. You don't hear that in the banks. And so when you really look at the history of all 4 of our credit unions and all of them, it's, it was people coming together to help people. And I think that's the strength behind the credit union. And I do want to make a comment about what, Kevin said earlier. We're not competitors. And I know that we're in the same space and we try to help each other out. But, we do enough that is the same, but we also do things that are different for our member bases, that there's life for all of us. There's a lot of people. And, if you can't do business with me for whatever reason, I'm okay with that as long as they do business with one of you guys or one of our other partners in this area, because I do believe in the keep it local, keep it within your communities, be able to reach out and have somebody teach you financial education, care about your families. And I'm not saying that the big banks don't. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is that we are a community, and that's how we grow, day to day. So
I'm hoping, could I just get you to say buy in the Bay Area, and then we can use it as a
Buy in the
buy
Bay Area. Yeah, buy in the Bay Area.
Nice. Okay.
Well, and basically, what Jay said too is, there is a lot of business in the area, in the Bay Area, for everyone to, flourish. I know we are growing leaps and bounds. I feel that we're all doing that. We're all seeing the numbers in our deposits, our number of members, our, loans and things like that. And it's just, being in the business for 38 years and working for Amoco the last 16 years, I've been able to see the growth from our 77 employees to almost reaching 300 employees. We're, reaching at 1.3 billion. Jameson, I've seen your credit is actually tipping while we're at. Jay, y'all are, growing leaps and bounds as well. Raina, I've seen y'all are somewhat ahead of, of ours, and I've seen how Shell has grown over the many years. So me being in this area, I've seen all these credits grow. And that's what I feel that, we do best. Once again, we provide the services that are needed for our members. We are doing the video banking now. You can do, check deposit, from your phone, going into your home banking. Those are things that we've kind of like borrowed the ideas from the banks. Took time to put those products together, and we're growing with that. So I feel that, with all the things that we've accomplished, it's just helped us grow tremendous. And we just keep on looking at those new type of features that helps. And I see all the other credits doing the same. So, and that's a good feeling that we're all kind of on the same stream of doing that. And so once again, like Jay said, and our CEO is all about that too. If you don't do business all with Amoco, that's fine. But if you're doing business with a credit union locally and buying into the Bay Area, that's what we ask.
Yeah, and I love your comment there, Jay, about we're all the same in a way, but there's a uniqueness to each of us.
Exactly.
That's it's very refreshing. It's we can appreciate each other's uniqueness.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, one of the weird things that happened when I came over to the credit union, and again, we're all been, I guess, credit union wise, we've been doing this for a long time, but people don't get what credit unions are still. And when I first got here, I had to oversee the marketing department. We actually ran a campaign that said, "We've got that," and it was kind of funny as a member would come in and say, "Do you do car loans?" Well, we've got that. Do you do mortgage loans? We've got that. Can you? Yeah, we've got that. We've got that. There's really not a whole lot that we don't do that a bank does. And in a lot of cases, my credit union does more than a lot of banks do that are much larger and have a much bigger footprint than we do. And so it was unique that we had to go through a campaign that said, "We've got that. We've got that." When all of us. We got it. And
it's also happening nationally. CUNA has a big push for that. And so, and I think it's, I always talk with Sean Bailey over at Amoco, and he's a big believer in a rising tide raises all ships. And so he really professes that. And he also, as when he was chairman of the chamber, that was a big thing that he talks about, and that cooperation of chamber members. So that's really hitting it right on the head there. All right, we are into our final question.
Okay.
Tell us about an accomplishment over the last year or 5 years or whatever that your credit union is proud of achieving. So Kevin kind of hit on it. We just recently surpassed $1 billion in assets, and for a little old credit union, Teachers Credit Union from Pasadena, that's kind of a big deal, and we really celebrated that. And what are you guys? What's been a good story that you guys have had lately that you're really proud of?
Congratulations on that. I will say, we have been Houston Chronicle top workplaces for 11 consecutive years. Recently, the Deer Park Chamber named us Large Business of the Year for 2020. And we just opened our Sky Bridge. So that was exciting back here in the Deer Park location, our headquarters. So I think that's a great accomplishment. Other than that, we're just proud to work with the community and, just providing the best service to our members.
Awesome.
And the Houston Chronicle, we have that as well, where we've been recognized by our employees as being one of the top workplaces. That's always a huge accomplishment because it's the employees telling you that. I think two things for us in the last 18 months. Number one was when the pandemic hit, we went almost on a dime to closing our branches or our lobbies and having to just turn on a dime to do everything that you could. And all the taboos of you can't do that in the drive-through, or you got to come in to do that, or you know what I'm talking, that whole conversation. We did it all through the drive-through, and it created such anxiety for everybody because that's not how we were brought up in the banking world. But everybody got used to it, and it just changed the landscape of how you started thinking about how you help members. Okay, if you could do a wire in the drive-through, could you open up a new account? Could you do, what does it take to help that member who in the face of the pandemic didn't want to come in? And then lastly, probably from a personal standpoint, 6 years ago in August, I started a veteran nonprofit out of the credit union. And I think it's a very unique thing for a credit union to be able to actually run a nonprofit out of it for veterans. And we've been doing that since 2015. I've got about 60 local veteran organizations that are part of it. We go out of our way to make sure that veteran lives and their families are impacted in a positive way by kind of centralizing all of the help and the information that they need in the Bay Area or the Gulf Coast area. So, and I was stuttering on purpose because there's all that craziness going in there. But anyway, I'll let Kevin go.
And that is so true too. I just kind of learned something recently. It's like I was at a chamber event in Texas City, and someone made a comment about they never go to Plan B. It's like you have Plan A, but you might have to adjust that, and which is true. Some people think, okay, well, I need to have a Plan B, but yeah, that's okay. But really, you should never get away from Plan A, and I feel that's what we do as well. So last year with COVID and everything, and like Jade said, we had to close lobbies several times. Okay, what do? We still had to have tellers, working. We had probably 75 of our employees working from home. We had to make it happen. And with that, we did about 10,000 skip-a-pays. If they were in good standing or, things like we're having some issues, we were doing skip-a-pays. We were for 2 months. We weren't asking questions, meaning that if they weren't laid off, or they might have been helping family members. So they might have needed to skip their payment in order to help fund money to their family members. We were doing other type of loans, and we were for the members that needed that. So that, I feel that says a lot about our credit union, that with us having our best year, that we were out there helping that. And we did the same thing in Hurricane Harvey. There's things that you have to just change maybe at the last minute due to, I call that acts of God, that we're, hurricanes, we're by water, things like that. We're going to always have to make some changes. And that's what I feel that we always are good at, but we're looking after our members' best interests. And we want to look after our members, our employees for safety and things of that nature. And I feel that we're always on top of that. Going back to the, virtual banking that we have to offer, those are things that someone doesn't have to come in the office if they don't want to. Internet banking, we do a lot of that as well. So even though we still build branches or things like that, but we have all those e-services as well. And I see all the ones that are here participating do as well.
So International Credit Union is one day, but what I'm really picking up on is the amount you guys give back to the community and to your members on a daily basis. And so Thank you all for what you do. Appreciate you being on with us. And then this message is directly for the audience. If you like this segment and want to see it continue, give us some likes on social media, pump us up a little bit. If you have suggestions, you can reach out to the chamber and they'll get me those suggestions for future segments. But great job, guys. It's been great seeing you again, and I'll talk with everybody soon.
Thanks, Jameson.
Thanks, Jameson.